Disclaimer. I am a podcaster, motivational speaker, and full-time counselor. And here on this platform, it is my job to talk about current affairs and trending topics that have been discussed, posted, and even floating around on social media. I do not claim to be the voice for all, nor do I claim to know it all. Therefore, remember this if you remember nothing at all. It is okay that we agree to disagree, as long as it is respectful. Every Friday at 7 p.m., I will be talking about whatever I like, and you will have the opportunity to share your voice. Now, if you can handle it, have a seat, and if you can't, feel free to exit stage left. With that being said, let the discussion begin. What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to today's show. You know what time it is? It is tea time with VG, and we're in the building to have a conversation and start the week off right. So first and foremost, how are you guys doing during this pandemic? Yep, that word keeps singing and ringing all over the place. And many of us are not dancing to the tunes of this pandemic. So I always like to start off on Tuesday with just checking on you guys and see how you're doing. And when I mean you guys, I mean you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your fellow coworkers, even your enemies. You know, how is everyone doing during this time? You know, we are in president's times right now, a very difficult time. And it seems like every Tuesday we have a conversation about the coronavirus. But again, like I said, I would be remiss if I don't talk about where we are and how we as a people, a human race, not black, not white, not Asian, not Filipino, not any of those, just a human race. How are we supporting one another as we go through this process of the pandemic? And what would it look like when we come out of it? So, you know, it's something I want to talk about until we have an answer, until there seems to be some unity, some support, true support. Because for sure, we're not getting it from your president, Donald Trump. You know, it's so bad that you never know when a person's telling you the truth when they're always lying. You know, the little boy who cried wolf, that's Donald Trump. He say one thing and in the next breath, he say something else. So when he is trying to communicate somewhat of a truth, you don't know it to be the truth or not. Because all he knows is lies. And we are saying, okay, you want me to believe you now, but all the other 10 conversations you had were just false, made up, lies, and take no ownership. So it's quite frustrating, Donald Trump, that you still want everyone to see you as their president. And there's people, honey, on Facebook ranting about how Donald Trump is my president and your president. And I remember saying that it's when people were in captivity and slavery, whatever race, ethnic group that was imprisoned by someone else, if they call that person the slave master, you can't tell me in their heart when they know that the person was wrong, that they still consider them, oh, that's my slave master, that is my leader. No, they didn't take ownership of them verbally outright. There's people who died never owning the truth about people who were slave masters, who had their foot on their neck. Those people didn't go around verbalizing, you are my leader, you are my president, you are my master. They didn't do that. They called them by the name, but in their hearts of hearts, they didn't say, this is my president. And there are people having word battles about Donald Trump being their president. I'm glad to see you're safe, soul. I'm so glad to see you're safe, really. And I'm always excited to see you. We must catch up after the show. Um, if not tonight, definitely let's catch up before the next week comes in because we haven't talked in a minute. And if your number hasn't changed, I have your number and you should have mine. But yeah, people are just ranting and, oh, well, he's your president. And then they had the audacity to bring up the fact that this stimulus check came out. That, oh, okay. And this is something I shared on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. People are saying that a stimulus check came out. So you're going to cash this check and still say he's not your president? And to those people, I say you must be out of your cotton picking mind because that money that they gave, which was pennies, pennies in these days and times, pennies, I earned that. I pay my taxes faithfully. As I travel up the byways and highways, I pay tolls, I get gas. All of that money is going someplace. And yes, I'm getting something from it, such as if I pay for gas, I get gas in my car. But you can best believe me, for every gallon I get, you're overcharging me. We have streets and highways, and if I wanted to avoid mass traffic, which oftentimes on the turnpike, you cannot do that. You think it's a bonus for me to pay you tremendous dollars for tolls to go from one place to another. And you think that Donald Trump gave me money? Donald Trump gives nobody anything. Nothing. He has called people lazy, ignorant, every name in the book. You think he's giving you money? You, those who support Donald Trump, you think that Donald Trump just sat in the Oval Office and just cared about the people so much that he went to his cabin and he went to his supporters and says, listen, we need to do something for the people. Let's come up with a stimulus pack, this bill. Let's get it passed on both parties, and let's give something to stimulate not just the economy, of course, but just to put something in the hands of the people so that they can feed their family, so they can keep the lights on, the water running when we have to wash our hands a million times, which you should be doing even if it's not a pandemic. But Donald, what have you given? I'm not going to call him my president. He is not my president. He is a man in office that cheated himself into that seat by the help of people, whether it was Democrats or Republicans, and we know it's not the Democrats that helped him, but the people that supported and put their his name on the ballot. He's in office because you voted him to be your president. I did not vote for him. I didn't. Understand this. I could respect a Republican president in office that was for the people. I could. If I'm not a Republican or Democrat, I can support someone who I did not vote for and happened to win office in that seat if they were doing right for the people. But we have more wrongs than we have right with Donald Trump. And let's be clear, there is no president that has been 100% everything that we want. No one, not even lovely Mr. Obama. No, no. I would be a fool to say that, yes, when Obama was in office, he did everything I wanted him to do. No. Mm-mm. And no, he didn't just get my vote because he was black. That was a big reason why he got my vote, but that was not the only reason. When he campaigned for the people, in my opinion. But that's what you have when you have people who are not on the same page. We view things very much differently. We see this world different. And it's quite annoying that we can't get on the same page and support one another during this crisis. How is it? How is it, since we're talking about this freaking Rona, as people want to give Rona the nickname, how is it that if your president says in one breath, we need to do something, this is out of control and we need to help the people, which I don't believe he said that at all. Matter of fact, in any of the interviews I heard him, I didn't hear that one time with him saying that, guess what? He is for the people and we need to do something. He was complaining about people needing, the hospital needing ventilators. He was complaining about people needing masks and the medical garments to protect themselves while servicing the people who were impacted by the coronavirus. He was. How do you complain about that? How do you make that a complaint? I'm confused. Donald, how do you make that a complaint? How do you sit in the Oval Office complaining that the people on the front line in the medical field, not just the people who are doctors and nurse practitioners and just the people, the staff who work within these facilities, how is it that you're complaining about these people who need the equipment to do their job in one breath? And then in the same breath, not even another breath, in the same breath, you are saying, well, they have what they need and, we need to figure this out. What? It's just all over the place. And it is just confusing to me. I am confused. Although I'm not really confused. Let's be clear. I'm not really confused. I know Donald Trump is full of crap. It sure is the way he looks with that mullet, even though it's not a mullet, it's a mullet backwards. No, and I do not care if you're on this show and you're watching the show and you support my platform. I don't care if you are offended by my comments about Donald Trump. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. Remember, this show is we can agree to disagree. Yep, privilege and the lack of empathy. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's what it is. I wonder if he would sing a different tune if his family was impacted. Ivanka, the one with the beautiful body that he says and that everybody would love to just sex her. That's her father talking like that. I wonder if his son, who has a learning disability, was impacted by the coronavirus. Would he be singing the same tune? One of those corrupted sons that he has. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric. I wonder if he would have the same opinion. I wonder if he would have the same opinion about that if it was his wife, the one who copied the former First Lady Michelle Obama's speech. I wonder how he would feel. I wonder if it knocked on his door, would he sing a different tune? That he needs to be out there rallying more for the hospitals to do their jobs. I just wonder. I wonder. I truly, truly wonder. Because I wonder with a clear conscience that no, honey, he will be doing everything he needs to do to make sure his family has what they need. And that's the thing about privilege and underprivilege. That's the thing about resources and no resources. That's the thing about, unfortunately, being black in America and being white in America. That's the difference in being able to pay your bills and not pay your bills. Unfortunately, this life is a seesaw. It's up and down. It seems like it never just levels out fair for everybody. And it's quite frustrating. So, we're talking about the coronavirus and what that's looking like for many people. And I kind of want to just kind of have a quick conversation about the frontline staff. So, I have family members who are frontline staff, whether they are doctors or nurses, nurse practitioners, whether they're EMT drivers, whether they're police officers, just the people on the front line, essential staff, right? I'm supposed to be considered an essential staff because of what I do with people with addiction and people in crisis. But I don't consider myself an essential staff. I think my office does that because, the job has to be done. But I'm talking about those who go to these hospitals and on the front line who keep us safe, from police officers to doctors. Um, they're out there protesting right now that we do not return back to work. And it's my understanding Governor Cuomo, Governor Murphy, they are, among many other governors, are fighting to kind of just slow down a little bit, looking at the next couple of weeks and decide should we be opening up this state and resuming business as usual. And then you have to ask yourself this question. I mean, I understand. I truly understand that if we don't work, we can't pay our bills. I understand that. But I'm going to be honest and say that I'm a little bit um, unknowledgeable. I was going to say something else, but I'm not that. A little bit lacking knowledge in this here. So I'm lacking knowledge that we make money. And I know that the dollar has to hold a value. I get that. I know all that. I know that. But I'm just going to play a little bit naive for a second. Just for a second, just for conversation purposes. If we understand that the dollar weighs value, we know that, right? Which is why a person holding the dollar to a person having not having a dollar, the person with the dollar is more richer than the person without a dollar. I get it. And if everybody had the dollar, then there would be really no value in the dollar. But is there no other way to come up in all these years, hundreds and hundreds of years, to figure out how to make it that there's no poor people in the world? Not one person suffering to pay their bill, that there's no homeless people. I mean, is there any way really to figure this out? Really, any way for us to figure this out? Is there not a way for us to figure out how to make sure everybody have a dollar in their hand? Now, I'm not talking about the people who gets a dollar and spend a dollar and shooting up on in crack houses and just shooting up. That's not what I'm talking about. Excuse me. I'm talking about those individuals who are trying to work. I'm talking about those people who are working below minimum wage. I'm talking about those people who don't make six figures. I'm talking about people who struggle to pay their rent day in, day out. I'm talking about those individuals. Those are the individuals I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who is trying to keep just bread on the table. And I know that I have this picture still here. I know I have this picture here. I know I have this picture here because this picture is a protest picture of the frontline people that's in the hospital blocking traffic, asking us that we do not drive back to work because they're in the hospital watching people die by the hundreds, if not thousands, in one hospital across states. And they are at first hand seeing that what's happening and what could possibly happen at this day and time if we return back to work with a pandemic just upon us. Listen, we have been wind of this pandemic since January. I think they were aware of it. January, aware of this pandemic. Okay. So they're aware of the pandemic since January. We don't find out about this pandemic coming close to us until March. I will push it and say February, but March. Let's be clear. I didn't hear anything about the pandemic knocking on the door of the United States until March. So they're asking us not to go back to work to keep them safe so that they can go home and be with their family and so that we can be safe and not end up in the hospital less in a morgue or even worse in a tractor trailer cooling box because the funeral homes and morgues have no place to put any more bodies. So I ask you, do you think, and I'm not asking you in your laziness, I'm not asking you because you just don't want to do anything. You want to lay back and collect the unemployment check, which I already know that's an issue in itself. I'm not asking you that because maybe you still get paid while you at home. I'm not asking you that. That, if you answered from that perspective, then you're being a little bit selfish, and I challenge you not to be selfish. I'm asking you to think about these individuals asking that we don't go back to work. Do you think it's too soon for the states to open up and we go back to work on a small scale, what do you think would be the appropriate way to ease back into the workforce while they get a handle on this pandemic? What are some of the suggestions? The show has started on time today. I see two people. I see Fee over there in Facebook, and Lord Fee, I'm trying to get you to come over to YouTube. And I see Soul. Thank you, Soul, for holding down the fork over there in YouTube. They say if you are a believer in God, they say that where there's two gathered, He's in the midst also. So the show shall go on. And those who don't make it while the show is running, hopefully they catch the after show and then post their comments there, and I will respond accordingly. So, again, do you think we should be opening up? Because I can tell you right now, if you've been watching the news says that the governor in Georgia and the governor in South Carolina and probably others. I'm not sure. I have my map right here. My map saying Tennessee as well. They have already decided to open up before April 30th their states, which means they're given permission to tattoo parlors. Let's be clear. Tattoo parlors, nail facilities where you can get your nails done. What else did I hear? Let's just start with those two. So they got those two. Well, these governors are talking about letting these individual bowling alleys, social places. They're talking about these governors opening up these small businesses. Now, get it. I understand it. I understand that these small businesses are going to be hit, if they've already been hit so hard that some of these small businesses will not even reopen. They won't even reopen because they can't afford to reopen. They don't have the revenue to pay their staff. They don't have this bank money sitting for 15 weeks, 13 months, just sitting there in queue. God forbid something happens where they could start their businesses, open up the doors and start the businesses and keep payroll going. So I get that. I absolutely get it. But I'm sorry to tell you, I could care less about a tattoo parlor opening up. I can care. Listen, I get my nails and feet done all the time. I do not deal with the jacked up feet. That's just something I don't do. But honey, these feet can wait until it's safe to get them done. And in the interim, I would do them at home. You can't tell me that getting my feet and here's the thing. I understand that they're not opening up the bowling alleys, the tattoo parlors, the bowling alleys, tattoo parlors, all of these places. They're not opening it up. They're not opening it up because they care about the people. They're opening it up because of money. If 5 people work at a tattoo parlor and the business owner does not have the revenue to pay his staff for 1 year's salary of his staff, you think I want them going there doing tattoos and breathing on people and probably positive with the coronavirus? And again, we don't even have enough tests to test everybody for coronavirus. And that very same person who come out with a face tattoo or a neck tattoo, honey, they're going to be somebody with a tattoo of corona on their neck at some point, trust and believe. Coming out with a tattoo on their body someplace, but they got coronavirus, they're positive for coronavirus. And that same person who went to the tattoo parlor, got a coronavirus tattoo, went to the shopping center where I shop at, now don't cover a face mask, don't wear a face mask, and don't wear any gloves. And yeah, you putting me and everybody else at risk. No, close the doors for now. Figure out how to stimulate this economy better than you did with this little bit of change that you gave in the month of April, that you're hoping that we spend right back. That money is not going to stimulate anything. And here's the thing, to those people who were complaining about he being our president because he gave us a stimulus check, again, false. Baby, he didn't give anything. That money is not, what is that if your household Let's say you're a single person, you work, you pay taxes in 2019, 2020, and you got that $1,200 check. How is that helping you at all in the, that's not even enough to cover rent, let alone I own a home mortgage. So if I save that little change to pay the mortgage or the rent, then what about food, lights, water bill? Because a lot of us pay for water. What about that? Food. I mean, if I didn't already say that, I mean, come on. He didn't give me anything. And again, if your feelings are offended because I'm saying that your president didn't give me anything, that he took a little bit of that change, the money I gave in my taxes and all the money I put into the economy and put it into a little bit of change and sent out a check, I'm going to need him to do better by the check. I am. I do think that it's too soon for us to open up the economy right now. You know, and that those people who have children have to go back to work and they can't afford childcare because the stimulus check that your president said he gave us, if they have two children and they need to pay for childcare, how is that done? How how do you figure? I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but honey, my nephew could figure that out. How is that done? I just don't get it. How are you trying to sell me that your president did me a favor? And those who actually got the stimulus check, I know a lot of those people don't even want to spend the money because they need to save it to build on the little pennies that they have so that they can just meet the bills for the month. And that's not meeting the bills for the month because if we all really did our bills for the month, trust and believe the money that you probably got won't even touch. It just won't touch. It won't. So unfortunately, small businesses, they seem to be getting ripped off by the big corporations because somehow they are padding this stimulus thing and benefiting themselves. And you're telling me your president did me a favor, and I tell you that you're a liar. Sorry. Remember, this is say it like. Wait, we'll get back to that slide. Let's get back. Um, real talk. This is real talk. Remember, we say it like we mean it, long as we're respectful of one another. And respectful of one another means I don't call you out your name. I'm not calling you any derogatory insults. I'm not doing that. I'm speaking my truth. And my truth when it comes to your president is that he's a lousy president. He is lousy as they come. I'm trying something new because I want to stay on top of reading the comments when you guys post because I want to be able to respond to the comments. So I'm going to try to save those to the latter end part of the show and then scroll back through to them and then answer them. So trust and believe I'm aware that people are posting comments and some of them I can say real quick and some of them require me to be a little bit more in depth. So I'm not going to do that so early on because I want to stay on topic and then answer your questions. So yeah, again, real talk is that yeah, I'm not buying anything that President Trump say. He doesn't know how to speak. He don't know how to speak without insulting people, and he's the president. He's in the most powerful house in the world, the White House, and yet when someone disagrees with his rhetoric, he insults them right on camera, right live. And you don't want me to be honest about my true feelings about your president. And I find that very hilarious. I mean, hilarious. And this is not a black or white thing. Let's be clear because there's black people who voted for Donald Trump. There are. There are all kind of race of people who voted for him to be in office. He didn't just get there on white votes. He didn't just get there on rich people votes. He got there on people voting for him, whether you were black, white, Asian, rich, poor, tall, yellow, green, straight, gay, bi, whatever you are. There's a lot of people in each category voted for Donald Trump. And if you're not feeling the impact of his presidency, then good for you. But if you are and you voted for him, good for you. I would love for someone to come onto the show and have a conversation with me about Donald Trump and why he's such a great president. The only thing is, I would say that if you know somebody who would want to come on and have a conversation, I would just ask that they can talk I, and be open, because I would be open. I'm willing to hear the conversation. I am. I'm absolutely willing to hear it. Now, you won't possibly be able to sell me in believing that he's a good president, but I'm letting you know that I'm willing to have the conversation. Absolutely. And I am not entrenched, embedded in, how the office works. But I know what works for me. I know what works within my community. I know what gets me what I need by someone sitting in office. I know that. So, I'm willing to have the conversation with those who disagree and thinks he's the awesome, most great president. Because remember, people are walking around with these hats, let's make America great again. There's people walking around believing that Donald Trump was the best thing ever smoking. There are people really believing this. I mean, really, really, really believing that he is the president of all things good and walking this planet of the earth. Even though we know he has some connections with Russia. Even though we know he insults people with disability, even though we know he insults people of different ethnicities, yet you believe he's the best thing smoking. And I don't understand. So, what will, you know, again, like I was saying to you guys, Donald, I don't know if he actually believes, hello, Miss Alexander, I don't know if he actually believes that we're at risk. I don't know if he actually believes that. I think he believes what people tell him to a certain degree if it floats his boat and it makes him look good. Because understand, he is narcissistic like nobody's business. He's arrogant and very narcissistic. So I wonder if he truly believes that we are in a really bad situation. And Fauci, I think his name is Dr. Fauci, if I'm saying his name wrong, you know who I'm talking about. We are trusting that, he is standing firm in his position as a doctor and giving Donald Trump the business. And I don't expect Dr. Fauci, again, I'm probably saying his name wrong, to stand on the platform with Donald Trump and have a conversation and debate with him. I don't expect that. No, I don't expect that, somebody who's working with the president to have those kind of in the face conversations. But what I do expect is that he would stand firm and be honest and tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. Because I can't recall hearing him talk about let's really follow science and the data. Maybe he said it. I'm not saying he didn't say it. I just don't recall him saying that. And he seems to be very smart and knowledgeable. He does speak in a way that he's not trying to chop your head off, I think. Even when he's been challenged by the press during those conferences, he do seem to speak as if he's confident in what he's saying. And then when someone says something he believes he did not say, he does say it firmly without being disrespectful, unlike his president. So, I just wonder, what would this world look like moving forward? Because you listen, you better believe for sure. Please understand, guys, if you don't, that I want to make sure that this is going to be a new world. It's going to be a new world for many of us. Even if you don't want things to change, it has already changed. Once they confirmed that we were in a pandemic, it changed the world. And now the question is, how will we interact with one another? How will we embrace one another? And I'm talking about not just neighbors. I'm not just talking about your colleagues. How would you embrace your family? Remember, remember, we don't live in the same household with all of our extended family members. And you don't have an eye on those family members. How will you be embracing those individuals? How will you teach your children to embrace their classmates? I mean, we are going to have a whole new world. Things have changed. And I don't know if it's changed for the better, because a lot of things seem horrible right now. But will the new world, let's just call it that for lack of better words, will the new world, the new way we do things, be better for us in the long haul or not? I don't see us living in a world, especially an American, not embracing one another, not hugging one another, not touching one another. And honey, if that be the case, then how are people going to get the hookups going on? How are people going to be connected and intimate with one another? Like, how are you willing to put that out there? How? How would you do that? Because I don't know. I truly, truly do not know. Hold on, guys. Um, I thought we had something. But anyway, how do we know? I don't understand how we will embrace one another and be able to move forward. I truly do not know. And it concerns me. It concerns me because we, sh- I, I mean, I don't know. I truly do not know. And I want to know, how will we move forward? I've talked to friends of mine who are working from home, like myself and many of you, and many of us are saying, um, I'm not returning back to work. If they have a plan to open up the um, the states by May 15th, there's people saying, no, I'm not returning back to work. I'm not going to do it. I'm not willing to just go so soon. And after coming out of a pandemic, truth be told, I think that is quite soon. For me, I was allowed to work home from on March 19th was my first work home. Yes, March 19th was my first work at home. So if they're asking us to return back to work by May 15th, if that be the case, coming with this kind of pandemic, coming with so many people globally, more than 100,000 people have died from the coronavirus. Do you think we're in a safe space to go back and return back to our work as usual, as it was? Because I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. And how do you go back to those workplaces and operate with normalcy? How do you do that? From beauticians to counselors to social workers. I know people are on the front line doing it now. And oh my God, thank God for those people on the front line. I don't know if many of them considered before they went into the field of medicine, um, that they in their lifetime will be dealing with a pandemic. I don't know if they ever thought about that, a life crisis. This wasn't a state situation. This was a world situation. I don't know. I don't know. And I see the comments. People like no, and they're not willing to return back to work. And for many of us, we don't feel like we have an option. We are like, okay, It's not like they're saying, listen, don't go to work, and don't go to work for 3 months. I know I'm pushing it. 3 months. Let's clear this air, literally. Let's clear the air and let's not have you back to work for 3 solid months. Let's take 90 days to clear the air. Let's make sure all of the people who are able to deal with pathogens and all those kind of health issues go into these prospective places and clean and sanitize from ceiling to floor. And when you return back, we know that you're returning back in a space that's clean, virus free, and you can go back to work as normal. Just look at that. Then maybe people will feel a little bit more okay. Wow, it's been 90 days since this pandemic has been going on. And I understand for all those who go and run their mouth, oh, but you can't pay your bills. That leads into my next comment or my next thought. Mortgage companies, give a pass. Renters, give a pass on those individuals who have to pay their mortgage and pay rent. We free you of that during this time. We will pick up in 90 days. Not you have to now pay the 90 days back pay. No, we're not talking about that. That's not what I'm talking about. And yes, I know if I don't go to work, if I don't pay my mortgage, pay for my house, then the bank who owns the house says, well, you didn't pay your mortgage. You didn't pay your taxes. Well, I wouldn't be able to pay it if I was dead. No, I wouldn't be occupying this home if I was dead. It's kind of like they say that, listen, you show up to work or you don't have a job. And if you die because you showed up to work, they're just going to replace your position with somebody else who's willing to take the job. I mean, let's be clear. I'm in my feelings about the situation, and they're my feelings from your president to how they are supposed to be stimulating the economy, how they are forcing people sooner than later to go back to work when the people on the front line do not even feel that this is an appropriate time for them to go to work. And trust and believe, those people on the front line, I do not believe those individuals on the front line, I do not believe these people on the front line are doing it just for the dollar. No. Let's hope they're getting compensated. Let's be clear. They should come out of there with beautiful checks. They should not be doing it for free, volunteering their time. They should get paid for their services, for sure, and not their regular pay. No, absolutely not. But understand that those of us, the very people here asking us to stay home and don't spread the virus because there is no vaccination for this virus. There's nothing there that if you get it, they're going to give it to you. You're never going to get it again. There's nothing created yet. And I'm not really sure and clear because I refuse to watch this daily, day in, day out conversation about the coronavirus, the lack of testing, people going to work too soon, the spread of the virus because people want to go to beaches and all kind of places and spreading this virus, not knowing that they're spreading it because they haven't been tested. No. I'm talking about the people on the front lines saying to us, please just stay home. Don't go to work. And I'm saying to the people who have the power, that's your president, to have the power to have conversations with governors that can have filter that down to the mayors, and it can be filtered down and says, listen, halt, stop. Don't charge these people for rent right now. Don't collect a mortgage from these people right now. The very same people that wanted to, I think if you're a millionaire, you have a certain tax bracket that you don't pay certain things. Like, come on, seriously? Like Donald Trump? Like, he said he paid taxes, but then he don't. I don't know what to believe because he's a liar. He's a liar. He's an absolute liar. I can spend all day actually talking about my feelings about this daggone coronavirus pandemic situation, the new world that we're going to be in, that we actually are in, and what that will look like for us moving forward. I just have a lot of feelings about that, and it frustrates me to no end that the person who claims to be the president of the United States, and the people that backs him in office, and probably go home to their loved ones or in the closet or wherever they go, complain about how lousy he is, but to his face, which I can't stand those kind of people, to his face, oh yes, you're absolutely right. But they punks with skunks stripes down their back and not tell him to his face. And not talking about the ones who do tell him. I'm talking about the ones who smile and cheese in his face and say that he's the best thing smoking. And then as soon as they turn their back and someone lends them an ear, that, oh, he makes me sick, he's the lousiest things than ever. I can't stand people like that. I know people like that personally. Those people burn me up. Oh, I just can't stand people like that. It works my everlasting nerves. It does. I think that, listen, if you got the galls to be able to say it to the person's face, I don't care who the person is. You don't have to be nasty. You don't have to cut their neck off. I'm not saying that. You don't have to cut their head off. But be authentic. Be true to who you are. Stand up and speak your truth. Because those people who don't stand up and speak their truth to me are people who lay down and accept anything. Only if it benefits them. That's the only reason people do that, because it benefits them. Trust me, it absolutely does. So yeah, like I was saying, where the world will now look like this. And how many of you looked at footage of people in China, over there in that country, always walking around with masks? You're like, oh my gosh, how were they walking around with masks? Because it was not our normalcy. And this looked like this will be our normalcy as we come out of the pandemic. I don't know. No, I don't want to wear a mask all the time. I would, absolutely would, to protect myself and others. But I don't want that to be my normalcy, so that's quite concerning. Yep, it's their norm. I want to move on to some things, but I want to make sure that you guys are feeling the conversation. So if you are feeling the conversation, don't forget, we got the thumbs up here. It's imperative that you drop your thumbs up, because guess what? They're watching it on the back end and I'm watching it on the front end. The other thing, also drop some comments in the diamonds in the comment section if you're feeling it. By now, you guys should already know how to use your diamonds. I want to also bring up a quick thing since we diamond. So remember, early on in the show, hi Dawn, I see you here. Remember in the comments, early on in the show, I said that I was thinking of some kind of name to call you guys. You're not my fans. I'm not no celebrity or famous like that, by no means. So you are supporters, but I wanted it to be something more personal, and I couldn't think of a name. And then I finally thought of a name, and I called you guys my Black Diamonds. And as you know, Black Diamonds are hard stones. They don't look like this. From the beginning, they go through a process. That piece of rock, that stone, goes through this process to become the diamond that it is. So I gave you guys the Black Diamonds. You're my Black Diamond family out there in the YouTube social media world, and I like that name for you guys. So we're sticking to that. And then remember, a couple shows ago, I said that we need to come up with a name without cursing people out, like, Donkey of the Day that they have on the Breakfast Club. And I was like, I can't think of a name. And then I was like, well, let's keep it in the Diamond family. So I said, okay, we're going to just call, it's kind of, it's not as strong as Donkey of the Day, but we're going to call those cubic zirconias, not the real diamonds. So I like the cubic zirconias right now. I got to find an emoji that's not the diamonds that we normally use. That would be our cubic zirconia stones. But yeah, we're going to drop those on those people's heads who are just not giving me what I need. And right now, Donald Trump, you are a cubic zirconia. Straight. Fake on all ends. Now, okay, you guys are free to drop cubic zirconias. You can do QZ in the comments in caps, and I know that you mean cubic zirconias in the comment section, because we don't have anything, and we'll come up with an emoji for that, but that's what we're going to be using right now. So QZ is for cubic zirconias. So I want to talk about, let me just check here. We got one, two. So we got about 5 people watching, not including myself and my screen. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at the numbers. So I see 2 likes and let's say 5 people watching, not including myself. So hopefully you guys don't leave without giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down if that's what you're feeling. Um, I don't want to take up a lot of time in reminding people about the thumbs up or the thumbs down and the share button because it takes away from the content of the show. But I know I have to remind you guys, please remember to utilize the thumbs up and or thumbs down if that's what you're feeling. And then also, please, you guys have social media. So that share button, share it. People will see the show more often if you share. Please share the show. Click share and it will go to your social media Facebook page. If you got Twitter, you can also share it there. If you got Instagram, you can figure out how to share it on Instagram. But we need to start sharing the show, getting more people to come. We're at 105 subscribers with, let's say, a steady 8. A steady 8. And I think I'm pushing it with a steady 8, meaning that those 8 people show up every time the show goes live on Tuesdays and Fridays. So let's remember these things are important. Thumbs up and sharing, please. Thank you for the love and the hearts. I see you. I see you and I love you for that. Thank you so much on Facebook. Much love. Okay, so I wanted to really quickly, guys. Okay, can we just talk? Look what I'm about to talk about. Why do you think I'm getting ready to talk about the NBA? Do anyone have an idea? Well, you might have an idea if you read my intro description about today's show. So, because the economy is taking such a big hit, the NBA has been notified that they will be taking a 25% cut in their money, which means they don't, it's not like pause and they'll get it later. They're going to be losing 25% of their pay. What are your thoughts about that? Because I cannot wait to tell you what my thoughts are. So, what are your thoughts about the NBA losing 25%? Each of these players, the owners, the coaches, they all lose. I think it's all of them, but I know the players lose 25% of their income from being a NBA basketball player. What do you think about that? Well, I'm going to give you time to post your comments while I tell you what I think. I am not mad. Let's be clear. There are some. I am a boxing fan, an NBA fan. Those are my 2 top sports. I love football for different reasons. I just love seeing a man run around and just knock the heck out of another one, and he looked good. But anyway, yes. So those are my 3 top: football, NFL, NBA, and boxing. I like those 3 sports a lot. But I'm not mad because they're taking a 25% cut in their pay. Truth be told, I think they're overpaid. And that's not the takeaway that a lot of these NBA players who have built on their craft and is good at and are good at what they do, that they don't put that money back into their community. Yes, for sure. I believe a lot of them do that. But when I look at a lot of them, honey, splurging their money on 25 cars, wearing gold necklaces and diamond earrings, and they got a house over here and a house over there and a house over there. I'm not mad. No, honey, I am not mad. Cut their pay. I think they're overpaid. What you charge was it? I think it was Spike Lee that mentioned how much money he paid for season tickets a year. And before was it the pandemic? There was a situation where for many years he was going through one door, and all of a sudden something happens, and now they wanted him to not use this door anymore and come in through another door. And again, I don't know why Spike Lee needed to go through a back door anyway. You should go through the door like anybody else, maybe a different front door, a different lane. Maybe you don't get in with everybody else, but come through the front door. Why do you need a person with a side door? Like, no, sorry. I didn't agree with that, but who am I? But Diamond of the Voice Gathering Live show. So y'all say that I don't think you need to come into that. That was not a big deal, but it is a big deal when you spend the kind of money he spent. I think close to $1 million, if not more, for season tickets to be able to sit on the front row courtside seats. Okay, and if you are an NBA player or whoever, you want me to feel upset or bad because they are saying that they're going to cut your pay 25%. Absolutely not. I do not feel bad at all. Hello, Chanel. How are you? Welcome to the show. If you're here and you're staying, we got to get you over here on YouTube where the conversation is happening and more comments. But thank you for popping in. Hopefully, you will give us a like, thumbs up, share this show on your page. But thanks for popping in. Again, I am not upset by the NBA losing 25%, each of these players losing money. No, I think they're overpaid, like I said. I think that we're overcharged to go and enjoy a good game. No. And then not only do you want to overcharge to go see the game, but you over want to charge at the concession stand, child. You want $10 for a bottle of water. Like, no, I'm not mad. They're overpaid. Just like a lot of these R&B singers, a lot of these entertainers are overpaid. A person at McDonald's who's trying to keep food on the table can't even feed their family. And there's people who play a sport because they love the love of the sport. You can't tell me that everybody that works at McDonald's or Burger King love flipping burgers. But I understand that NBA players, NFL players, and because we're talking about NBA players for this topic, they have a love for the game, which is why they invested so much of their time and sweat into the game. So they think that because they put all that passion into the game, they should be compensated and get a stipend pay at the top. What, $30 million? Are you absolutely out your mind during this time, during this pandemic? Are you crazy? You must be out of your last little bit of mind. I don't think anybody in these day and times should be paid that kind of money for an entertainment. No. You robbing me to go to the movies to see a good movie. I have to pay this big piece of money to go see a movie, and then you overcharge at the concession stand. I I I I I mean, I just don't understand the logic in NBA players thinking that they should not be cut some money. Like, I hope LeBron, I hope, um, I mean, just the big players, I hope they're not complaining about this. You know, if you're going to complain about losing the 25% in your pay, then why don't you all rally around, rally together, and then demand that the leagues, the head hunchmen, that they come down on the prices that they charge to come and see a game, because you would give an opportunity for many people to come and see you play, even if I can't be court seat, see you play a game. Do you understand that so many people are going to be born and die and never have seen a live game in their life because they cannot afford it? And you're complaining about they taking 25% of your pay during the pandemic, and that's going to move forward throughout the rest of, I guess, the NFL, your career. I'm going to need you to get a tissue and stop crying, because I'm not feeling your pain. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not feeling your pain. I'm definitely not feeling your pain. You would have to try to find someone else to understand why they should be upset because this is what they're doing. Cuz I don't see it. Um I don't see it, and I'm not feeling the hurt. Oh, okay. So some may feel that they signed a contract and that should be a binding contract. You know what? I get it. I absolutely get it. I absolutely get it. I get it. I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing that with me. That because those people went into these contracts, they believe these contracts should be binding contracts, and that the NBA player who signed a signed contract, that contract should stay during the duration. But I'm gonna need you to think about where we remember. Let's go back to what I just said. We are now in a new world. We're in a new world, and this is a new time. This is not the time for you to be complaining about you want to make millions and millions of millions and millions and millions of dollars right now during a pandemic. Yes, get paid. I'm not saying that you should not make millions. That's not what I'm trying to communicate. What I'm saying is that if you're making $30 million a year and you don't think that they should take 25% of your that money, I'm just confused. I'm totally confused. We are in a new world right now. This is not the old world. We're in the new world. When they come up with a virus to address the coronavirus, when they come up with a vaccination, sorry, to address the coronavirus, nothing's going to be the same. Nothing's going to be the same, people. You already know, each of you in the comments know that this is not going to be the same for you. You're going to be a new, whole, totally person. New. You're going to do things different. You're going to operate different. We know that. Let's see what. Um, I see some good comments here. Hold on. Yeah, Eric, you can say that again. You can say that again. Absolutely right. As long as people are willing to pay the ticket prices, fill the arenas, they're going to continue that. And that's what, think about it. That's what it means to stand in solidarity with one another. It means that, listen, if you hurt, we all hurt. Not, oh, well, I can afford it, so you can't afford it, so you know what? That's your business. That's your business. I'm not, I can afford this ticket. I can afford to sit courtside seat. I can afford that. So, no. That, unfortunately, we don't have a one world. We're not a one world. It's the world, but we're not a one world people. That's not what we are. We're selfish. And that doesn't mean everybody in the comments, or I'm saying that I'm a selfish person. But when we talk globally, we're selfish people. We are. We are me, mine, and that's it. And then everything else later. It's not a unity. And you definitely don't have unity with the president that you have elected in office, for those who elected him in office. I'm just saying. I mean, I hear you. I hear people saying, they should get their full pay. And I don't think. I want to make sure I'm communicating my thoughts about this topic clear. Listen, before the pandemic, before people, well, first and foremost, let me go back. I still always thought that NBA players, NFL players, these people were just overpaid. Damn, I'm talented. I go to work every day in an attempt to save people's lives. I educate myself and go to school and still can't afford to go to school like I want to. Let's be clear. They make more than doctors make. No, hell no. Do I think that these individuals who are making that kind of money? No, baby. Sorry. No sugar. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. No, 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 no. And you know what? I'm open to having the conversation. I'm appreciating the comments. I'm with you with that. Listen, I hear you. This is what we do. We agree to disagree. Come on, Eric. Speak the language, Eric. Oh, you can see when I start getting passionate about something, cause my tone goes up, my hands start moving. I was doing well holding my hands in my lap, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that yes, Eric, you a lot of those players feel entitled, are living paycheck to paycheck like most of us are. Okay, Eric. I mean, I need. Where is my high five? Can I get my high? Can I just, child? We need to give a a fist bump to Eric for that. Thank you, Eric. We need to drop him a diamond in the comment because I'm so with you on that. That's what it is. It's entitlement. Listen, I'm good at being a basketball player. So I got this contract. You guys agreed to it. You shouldn't revisit this. I know that people go to work every day and their employer revisits their paychecks. Well, their worth, their income. Well, we're going to, demote you. We're going to do that. Demote some of them NBA players, NFL players, them boxing stars, all these people who I cannot afford to go see because of the money they charge to go see them. Unless I'm willing to sacrifice, a bill here, my education here, a mortgage here, child buy. Yeah, you're going to have to sell that on somebody else. Let's see what you're saying here. Let me see. There are snippets of Jordan's documentary out of all hard work and dedication he deserves. Okay, so Jordan, listen, a lot of people have done great things. I mentioned that before you came into the room, Jasmine, that yes, a lot of these people are giving back to community. They're building houses for people. I get it. I absolutely get it. So maybe they should not start these kind of outpay to these NBA players at such a high um, pay. And I mean, I'm not talking about they should make, a couple $1,000. I'm not talking about that. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying that I think that a lot of them are overpaid, and I believe that they're very much entitled. It's a self entitlement. Listen, a lot of them they go through a transformation. Some of them grow. The late Kobe Bryant, he went through this transformation. I'm sure he did when he came into the game, and he was nasty at what he did. He came into the game, and then he ended up changing himself and learning and growing, and he became a great young man. Yes, some of them do learn, but we're talking about these entitlement. Well, first and foremost, I'm talking about this that 25% cut. If you're gonna hit their pocketbook, just hit it. Go ahead. Go ahead. And let's see what they do. Will they still continue to scale back a little bit? Do you need to have such a big house for just you and your girlfriend and your one baby? Do you really need that? I mean, are they living beyond their means? Is that 25% within their contract they're paid that these the people that own the franchise that own this company will that said they're going to take back from them? Could they scale back a little bit? I know that when I'm impacted, I'm expected to scale back and meet my means. I know that because I'm not self entitled. Mm-mm. No, I don't feel entitled. I know that if my job hit me today, I would need to scale back to meet my needs. And I don't think I live lavish. None of you can say I live lavish. Y'all better not, because I don't. I think a lot of the NBA players are living without living within their means. If I said that correctly, they live within their means without out of their means. Tongue tied right now. They're not living within their means. Michael Jordan can live within his means. Um, um, LeBron can live within his means. They can live within their means. Jordan's salary in the league was way less. Come on, Eric. Oh my lord. I love me some Eric. Facts. They are living within their pay scale. Well, now that their pay scale is going to be 25% less, they need to scale back like anybody else who goes to work, punch a clock. The people that go to McDonald's and punch a clock, they got to live within their pay scale. And before a lot of them became NBA players, they was living in their pay scale, so they know what that means to live within their pay scale. It becomes entitlement. So, Miss Jasmine, I like your feedback, girl. This you giving me everything, but I do not agree. No. What's good for the goose should be good for the gander. However they say that. Okay. I know when my paycheck, when they say that I get a cost of living increase in my paycheck, I'm like, oh God, thank you. Oh, thank you. Ciao, bye. Okay. Um, I want to. You guys have the right to actually continue to put your comments in about what we just talked about so far. I want to reach this last little thing. So, can we talk really quickly about R&B music and what it is today? R&B music, what it is today, honey. Let me just tell you right quick. So, for me, excuse me, for me, I am an R&B 90s, 80s, 70s baby. Trust me, honey. That's me. Um 90s was still good, but this new music, a few trickles down and give you your life. Like it resonates. There's some really great singers these days right now. But if you the scale again, here go the scale. If you ask me today, do we have great singers? No, not a lot. And it maybe I don't know it because I don't listen to the music. Just does not move me. I go back old school. I'm so glad that I listened to Siri. Mm, why can't I think of that? Excel Radio. You know what I'm talking about. I listen to that, and I it can take me back to the old oldies but goodies, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, early 90s. When it started getting to close to 2000, girl, bye. I'm over it. So I brought up the R&B because I wanted to talk really quickly. Did you hear about this rap? Not rap. Sorry, this battle between R&B legends Babyface and Teddy Riley, and it was on. It was posted on Instagram, so there was going to be this battle between the two, and I hear that what's his name, Babyface came 20 minutes late, but he came ready. He was in the studio just ready to just belt it out. After being after addressing the coronavirus, he came, just a little thing at the studio. So Teddy Riley was going. It was going to be this kind of music battle. Now I don't know. Let me actually ask you guys. What do you think? What do you think? What is out of the two? Out of these two, who would you say is the best for you? Can you even choose? I need you to drop some names real quick. Drop a name in the comment. Let me know who do you think really quick is the two that you excuse me. Who do you think? Let me see. The music changed from era to era. I think it's a bit easier to make. Yeah, I agree. The technology makes it more easier to make music. Oh, we're getting some stagnant from this, so we're gonna wrap up the show really quickly because I got my face is paused. Um, but okay, Jasmine, you said both is legend. Miss Alexander, okay, you're going with Babyface. Come on, guys, let's wrap this up really quick. Who else? It was amazing. I agree, Eric. I would say I prefer Babyface for music. Yes, I agree with Eric. He's absolutely right. Babyface is a good producer and great singer. Teddy Riley is a great producer and okay singer. Well put. Absolutely true. So I missed the supposed to be um, R&B battle between the two, but nevertheless, I wanted to bring it up because I got it on the back end and did some little talk about it real quick and said, "Oh wait, I need to talk about this. What do people think about the music and the I keep saying rap battles because that's all we hear. The music battle between these two. I'm going to go with the way Eric put it. Yes, our Babyface is a good singer, great producer, great singer, great producer, and Teddy Riley is a great producer. He's an okay singer. But he gave me good music in the 90s. He definitely did. I did a whole bunch of jumping too. Oh, thank you, Miss Alexander. I'll check it out on YouTube because I missed it. T Pain was amazing too. Okay, I got to check this out. Like I said, I only saw a little snippet of it. So I thank you guys for sharing that information with me. So, guys, again, we have spilled the tea with VG. I thank you guys so much for being here and having a conversation with me and just getting involved in the conversation. Remember, this show is not a show unless you guys are part of the show. And every time you show up, you're absolutely right, I Rob. There are two different styles, but Eric well said. New Jack Swing versus smooth R&B. Oh, okay, Lakeisha. You catch that one, right? Okay. So, as always, I thank each and every one of you for coming on to today's show. I need to shout out because I did see you. Hello, Tamika. I got my diamonds that you just sent me through the comments. Thank you, love. I'm glad you showed up. I was getting concerned that I was going to miss you. Look at my paws mouth. Y'all should see the delay on the screen. It's horrible. Anyway, thanks, guys, so much. Don't forget that if you want to sow a seed into my platform here that will, again, eventually turn out to come back to you, not a Donald Trump way, please consider making a donation to Cash App Lovely, Lovely 0615. That's my Cash App until I get monetized by YouTube, where you guys can do a super chat, which means you can give $1.50, whatever it get. I always say low because I'm not asking you for any amount of money. I'm not. I'm not even doing the show for money. But I do know that I'm watching other YouTubers, and these YouTubers are saying they're doing all these different things. I'm like, no, I'll do it by myself. I'll do it by myself. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Nope, Diamond. If they believe in you, they're gonna sow a seed. If they can. If they can't, they can't. And if you can't, you show up here. That's you sowing your seed. So thank you so much. Don't forget to always like, comment. Please use the share button. Click share. I'm going to see how many of you are going to share this show tonight. Don't forget, the challenge is still on to have people. So far, Lakeisha Jordan is the winner of the show by getting more people to come and subscribe. Dawn is the winner of the show because she's always here watching the show. She, I think, missed probably one or two shows since I started in January. And again, sowing your seed to Cash App Lovely 0615. Lovely. Whatever you want to donate, that would be great. And I will tell you how the money is being used. Thus far, the money's still sitting in Cash App. Won't touch it until we can do it on Friday on time. Don't forget that we are here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Be a part of the conversation on all these platforms so you know what we're talking about when we come to the show. And until I see you next time, be good to one another. And remember, we are one. And what we do is support each other. Be blessed and stay safe. Bye-bye.